welcome back to another episode of Mermaid Tales. Today I'm here with a really special pick a card reading. So I actually did this pick a card reading in celebration of reaching 200 subscribers. So I just want to thank you guys for helping me to quickly reach 200 subscribers. And what I find most amazing about this is that a lot of the same people who started following my channel in the very beginning, I love how you all are. A lot of you are still with me, and a lot of you have like recruited friends, family members to follow my page, my channel as well. So I just really appreciate you all, and to show my appreciation, I wanted to do this pick a card reading, which is what you need to hear right now. So we have 2020 coming up. We just got through the 12/12 portal, Friday the 13th. So there's some really powerful energy right now. And what I feel in channeling the collective is that there's lots of shadow energy going on. So during this time of reflection, a lot of us are being called to really think about certain things that happened throughout this last decade, certain things that worked, certain things that didn't work for us. And we're really being called to make changes. So one thing that I'm being called to say right from the beginning, so for everyone listening to this reading, is to just be patient with yourself. A lot of the times when we're going through different tests and lessons, it's easy to focus on what we did wrong without really focusing on the good things that we have done. So you may have found in this week, if you have been working on certain bad habits, that you may have noticed them coming out a bit more. But I'm sure what you didn't notice is how is your growth. It's harder to sort of recognize, oh, well, like I could have reacted in this way, but I've grown, and then I didn't react in this way that I would have in the past. But it's easy if we see an old habit come up for us to feel like, oh my God, we're stuck back to this old thing again. What's going on? So I would just encourage you all to really be patient. And if anything, if you notice your habits that you are trying to get rid of coming up more around certain people, then maybe again, that's just a sign of someone who you should be sort of not bringing into your next decade. If when you're around them, you get this pull to be your old self instead of your newly evolved self. So I posted this on my Instagram. If you do not follow me on Instagram, make sure you do at Mermaid Tales 5335. And as you can see, it's just row, because I'm going to get started with this reading. We have 4 piles, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I just want to dive in and get started for this reading because I'm really excited to see what messages come out. So let's start with pile number 1. Okay, so I just laid the cards out because I am hoping that this is a quicker sort of reading. So for pile number 1, you all got the 4 of Swords, the 2 of Cups, Lakshmi, bright future. It says stop worrying, everything is going to be fine. You have the temple path, and you have endurance, keep going. So you have a very strong message in this reading. The energy that I'm picking up on for the collective of people attracted to pile number 1 is that you have gone through a difficult decade. You may still be going through it's likely that you're still going through a difficult time right now. A lot of you are trying to take that leap into the unknown, and you may not know where you're going, but that's what the unknown is. The unknown is not clear cut. It's not something that you can control. The unknown is, just the blackness where creativity occurs, just a blank slate where you can project all the positive things you want in your life on, and then wait for them to manifest and materialize. And that's what you are being called to do. With the 4 of Swords energy, it really goes with this endurance and keep going card. So a lot of you may be really similar to what I was saying in the beginning, where we are all being tested right now to see, what baggage we still have that we need to let go of, and then what space are we making for new beginnings and new opportunities to come into our lives. So just be patient with yourself. Like I said before in the beginning of this reading, the 4 of Swords energy alludes to someone you can be more in your mind, and a way to stop that, I don't want to say stop that, a way to decrease being too much in your mind, like too anxious about, oh, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? A lot of people, they'll like rewind conversations that they've had with people. And if you really think about it, most people are thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about a conversation they may have had with you last week and you're feeling guilty about it. You know, that's like the egoic virus trying to come and sort of test you to see if you have truly moved past that. So a way to get past that is going to be meditation. So many of you are too much in your head. Some of you are meditating more, but if you were attracted to this pile, it's likely that dealing with anxious thoughts is something that you constantly battle with, right? So a way to really go against that, a way to decrease the amount of anxious thoughts that you have in your head is through meditation. Because when you really find that peace in meditation, then that's when you really allow spirit, great spirit in the universe to guide all of your movements. And when your movements are being guided by that higher self, that higher energy, there is absolutely nothing to worry about. And then you have Lakshmi saying that as well with bright future. Stop worrying. Everything is going to be fine. So there are some worriers attracted to this pile. And I understand why you would worry, because a lot of you have gone through really difficult times. You went through a lot of difficult lessons, sort of like being tested time after time. A lot of you are feeling like you're sick of fighting. Like, when are you just going to see the end of the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel? When are you just going to be able to graduate onto this next chapter in your life? A lot of you are feeling that way right now, and that's because a lot of things are going on behind the scenes. Take a look at this Temple Path card. The Temple Path card is showing all of the energies and spirits and ancestors that you have around you, right? So you are protected, and that's why you also see this Mermaid card telling you to keep going. Some of you have gotten stuck at this part before, and maybe not the last turn of the decade, but it could be just, because every year you're faced with these challenges. That's why a New Year's resolution is a thing, because you're faced with really evaluating and reflecting upon how that last cycle went so that you can make changes. So some of you have gotten stuck at this stage where you get to the reflection stage and you get so weighed down by that Four of Swords energy, by your thoughts, by worrying that you're doing something wrong, that you don't really progress forward. Or because you're so weighed down by your anxious thoughts, you are bringing so much more baggage with you into the next chapter that you don't necessarily need. You have a bright future waiting for you, my people attracted to pile number 1. You just have to let go and surrender, right? I really like the fact that you see those 2 birds in the Lakshmi card, and then also with the 2 of Cups, because both of those things are, for me, sending the message about a love. So if you find yourself being single, or maybe you spent the last decade in a rocky relationship, or wanting a relationship, just something that have to do with love, divine partnership, that may be something that you're waiting for as well. And some of you are sick of being in relationships that don't work out. Some of you are sick of being single. Some of you are sick of being in the same relationship where you feel like your needs are not properly being met. What you settle for is the message that you're sending out to the universe. If you are settling for a partner who is not, a partner doesn't have to meet all your needs. You can't get everything that you want from one relationship. That's not what I mean, and that's not what a lot of people are asking for. When I'm saying that a lot of you are seeking something in a relationship, I'm seeing that you want your emotional and sort of your spiritual and physical needs met, sort of basic needs that you should expect a partner to be able to meet. Like, not that you're going to have a partner and you're going to have all the same interests, the same music, the same hobbies, like that's not, I don't think that's a healthy relationship either. There needs to be some kind of difference, some kind of opposite. But I'm just seeing that a lot of you are sick of the type of relationships where you have certain needs not being met and you're not being treated the way you wanted to. Or some of you have just been single for a large portion of the decade. But with the Two of Cups energy, I am seeing a love relationship, like a union coming into play. So if you are a twin flame and you were in a period of separation, I do see a union coming. If you were single in a period of separation, maybe you've never met your divine partner or even a soulmate that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, I see some type of union coming for you all. But the biggest message is to let go of worry, let go of anxiety. And I know it's easier said than done, but really the key that you're being provided with in this message is meditation. If you can meditate, that's going to help you decrease the amount of anxious thoughts you're having each day. It's also going to allow those higher spirits and beings that are around you, it's going to allow them to get closer to you, so that when you find yourself about to worry about something, if you're really grounded and paying attention to your body, you can feel in your body when a spirit or an ancestor is trying to communicate with you and tell you, calm down. You don't have to worry about this. Keep on going, So that's really the biggest message that I'm seeing for all of you. I see love in your future if you are single in a period of separation. If you are with someone and you're not really satisfied in that relationship, maybe you could be going into another relationship, or it may just be something. Sometimes couples go through a period of sort of like stagnation where the love that was once there isn't the same. I see some kind of love being rekindled, whatever that means for you. This is a collective reading. I also see some finances coming into your future for the people attracted to pile number 1. You have Lakshmi. That is an amazing energy to have, but really take heed to her message. It says stop worrying. Everything is going to be fine. And the fact that that's right next to the Temple Path card too, it's really sending that message even stronger. You are protected. You have an entire entourage of angels and spirits and ancestors who are around you to help you throughout this journey, to help you on your path. And that's why they're telling you to keep going. But what I get for a lot of you is that worry is what's weighing you down. And just remember what I said in the beginning. It's okay if you find yourself getting triggered more at this time. It is okay if you find yourself sort of like stepping back into bad habits. I don't want to say completely into it, but sort of like almost being triggered to do some kind of bad habit that you once let go. For a lot of you, it's going to have to do with like a mental thing, like thinking too much into a situation, just some kind of habit that you've been working on shaking. Just because you're seeing that it's happening more does not mean that you're falling back into the habit. It's happening because we're being tested more during this period of transition, right? So whereas in 1 year you may have had, 15 lessons thrown at you, you may have 15 thrown at you within a week. That's the kind of energy that we're facing right now, to see, how much is it going to take to get into your awareness so that you can drop this baggage before 2020. So that's for a lot of you. If you look at your lessons and realize that they're areas for you to be able to grow and ascend, instead of sort of like being tested and thinking that it's unfair, that you're sort of being experimented on, don't look at it like that, because that's sort of a negative outlook. If you can look at it for what it truly is, then I see you really welcoming in great things. These are beautiful cards to have: the Two of Cups, Lakshmi, and the Temple Path. That's being loved, financially secure, and protected. That's basically everything that people want. But just look at the 2 cards on the end. Make sure you're not giving into anxious thoughts, and make sure you're not giving up, because some of you have been trapped in a cycle, because when you get to this period of reflection, you get so weighed down by stepping back into habits, or seeing things that happen that you thought were old and gone and done come back into your life. Some people let that get to them so much that they just fall back completely into that. It's basically like when you're preparing for a final exam, and then you pass all the quizzes, you pass the test, but in the final, you see stuff that you already passed, stuff that you already proven that you know. You're going to see that on the exam. So sometimes when people see those old tests come up, they think that they're doing something wrong, and then they jump into that, they just go back into that negative, anxious state where they're constantly thinking that the odds are against them and that people are against them and stuff. Like, so a few of you needed to hear that, and I'm definitely cautioning everyone not to step into that energy. Like, don't give up. This is not the time to give up. This is not the time to isolate yourself. You know, even though the Four of Swords, I'm telling you to make sure you're resting and meditating, it is still going to be good if you are getting some kind of interaction, even if that's trying to interact more with your ancestors or your higher self, you know? Like, free writing is a really good way of interacting with your ancestors. You just get a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, and then you just write whatever comes to your mind. That's a really good, tangible way to look at your thoughts, look at the themes that are coming up, and sort of make changes. And I assure you all, when you do that, you'll see that a lot of the times, if you find yourself being tested in this energy, it could just be to show you, okay, like, these people that you may have once hung around and enjoyed, they're bringing up old patterns in your life. So instead of keeping that type of energy in your life, move forward from it. You know, not every time, it might not always be the case that you're being tested on your behalf. Sometimes your ancestors just want to show you, like, look at this person, they're not good for you, you know, and you're trying to make things work, and it's just not, it's not set up to work. A lot of the times it has to do with you needing to remove people, because that baggage isn't just things. Sometimes that baggage can be, a lot of the times the baggage can be people that you're trying to drag into your 2020, and they're just going to drag you down. And you have these great things coming up, and you know, they can't really get to you if you are letting people, places, and situations from your past drag you down, you know. Lakshmi says bright future. You have a bright future, so let go of the past. You have the power to let go of the past. Okay, pile number one, I hope you enjoyed your reading. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to help me grow my YouTube channel. I really appreciate all of the work that you all have been doing with watching my readings. And when you like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, it really helps me out to be able to post more tarot material and more learning material in general. So thanks, pile number ones. I'm now going to move on to pile number two. Okay, hello to my pile number twos. As I said in the beginning, I just laid the cards out in the beginning because I'm hoping that this can be a quicker type of reading. But the cards that you have for the message from the collective, for Great Spirit telling you what you need to know right now, you have so many cups cards. So you have the Three of Cups, the Ace of Cups, the Knight of Cups. You also have Irene with peace, saying there is no need to worry as everything is working out beautifully. That was a message that was reflected in pile number one as well. So some of you may have either chosen pile number one. So if you find yourself looking at this reading and you couldn't choose between one and two, make sure you watch one too, because the cards are a little bit similar. Then you also have Butterfly Maiden with transformation, saying you are experiencing enormous change right now, which brings great blessings. And then you have sisterhood, or of course that could also be brotherhood. And it says friendship, allies, compatible souls, loyalty, joy, and delight. So these are some really beautiful cards and really beautiful energy to have my pile number two. So with that Ace of Cups, it's so beautiful. It just reminds me of the quote, like, my cup spilleth over, you know. So like what I'm seeing is your needs just being met. And then also look at those lovebirds in the Ace of Cups. So I'm seeing love, peace, transformation, sisterhood, community, you know, it could be brotherhood. I'm just seeing all of these things entering your life. So very similar to my pile number ones, a lot of you may be in a state of worry, and that's why this card is saying there is no need to worry as everything is working out beautifully. So a lot of the collective is ready to take that leap into the unknown, but a lot of what's holding people back is the worry. You know, you spent years being programmed that you have to take control of everything, that you have to go out there and make things happen in order for them to happen. So a lot of us are extremely uncomfortable with the idea of surrendering and allowing spirit or a higher force to meet our needs. You know, like, we feel like if we couldn't even, if you, it just goes into like different programming that society instills. If you can't even rely on the people in your life to meet your needs, how are you going to rely on a higher force to meet your needs? But you're being called to let go of that worry. A lot of you may have found in a decade that you have been more isolated and more alone, because we have the sort of like the Three of Cups energy coming out twice, because this sisterhood card is very similar to the Three of Cups energy, where there are people surrounding you who are on your level, who are on your same frequency. You know, like, that's what I'm seeing for you. So in order for that to be, you must have been in an atmosphere, or you're currently in an atmosphere where you just feel like you don't vibe with people. You feel like you're not really understood too much. You feel like you have to sort of force sort of some interactions to happen, and that no matter how much you try to, I guess, conform with the people around you, that you just, I'm getting at the people attracted to pile number 2. You're just not feeling like you can be yourself with the people around you, and that's because you're transforming. When you begin to transform, all the people who are still doing the same things in their life, you can't even interact with those kind of people anymore, because it just becomes boring. It's like, wow, you are literally still in that same chapter, doing the same things in your life, not trying to evolve. And that's something that can be tough. I see that some of you also in the last decade may have experienced a loss of someone who you really loved, and they may now be over on the other side. And a message for those people who needed to hear that is that this soul is now helping you. You know, the soul that you may have lost, that soul is now helping you with this transformation. And that's why you may feel like your transformation is going really strong. So when you begin to transform, that's when you transition from the known to the unknown, from the controlled to the uncontrollable. And in the realm of uncontrollable and the unknown, that's the realm where miracles occur. So you are being set up for a miracle to happen in your life. This miracle is going to transform your life. You're going to feel more at peace. You're going to feel like your needs are being met, and you're not going to feel so alone. A lot of you are feeling so completely isolated and alone because you want to take a step forward, but you're not quite all the way there in your spiritual journey. So you're feeling a bit isolated from that community, but then you can't really take a step back, but you still have a foot there in your old self, you know, and the people that you used to hang around in this, the older community that you were in. Like, say, it's reminding me of someone trying to come out of a religion. You have one foot still there and one foot trying to transform and learn something more. That is not an easy place to be. That's a very difficult place to be. And I always say it, when people find themselves caught in that position, that's when a tower moment can occur. A tower moment is when the universe has to produce some kind of drastic thing in your life to get you to choose a side, you know, because stagnation is never an option. You have to choose to either ascend or fragment. A lot of people try to stay in the gap, you know, they try to stay in the middle. But you have to make a choice. And I'm getting that a lot of you are going to choose transformation instead of going back to your old self. And you're going to find that when you choose the transformation, people who you thought there was something about yourself that you thought was only like unique, I don't want to say you thought was only exclusive to you, like maybe you hid it because you felt like it was just a you thing and not other people out there like that. But when you become more open with who you are, you'll find that people who are also open in the same way that you are, they're going to come around you more. They're going to come around you. If you are single, I see a relationship coming in your future. But for a lot of you, this relationship couldn't happen because you were not being true to yourself. because you are not being honest to yourself. Or for some of you who are in a relationship, some of you are just, you can be in a happy relationship and you'll move forward in a happy relationship, and your transformation is going to inspire your partner's transformation. But for others of you, you may have known that as you're evolving, you're trying to like see if your partner evolves too, and they're not, and they may be looking at you funny or not really into the transformation that's coming. And it's just because a lot of people get intimidated when they see people starting to shine their light, because it's reminding them that they're not shining their own light. So if you have someone like that in your life, you may need to let that person go in order to move forward. If you are single and you're not being true to yourself, you may need to let go of the mask, let go of this facade that you're trying to put up to please the people around you, so that you can welcome in this community, right? And if you are, some of you can just be in a happy relationship, and if your partner is not already awakened, you may find that when you awaken, it's going to encourage their awakening. It's going to encourage their transformation as well, because usually one partner wakes up before the other. Or for some of you who are single, you may find that that the person already awakened and you just needed to awaken on your own before meeting this person. So that's basically what I'm seeing for the people attracted to pile number 2. I think you guys should check out the pile number 1 reading, because it was a bit similar. But the main differences I'm seeing in this set of cards is this community aspect, being around other people who are like yourself, who are creative in a way. I'm not just talking about maybe you like to sing and maybe you start going to like a karaoke bar or something. I'm talking about people who you can actually vibe with, who are gonna be major parts of your life, who are gonna really have major parts in this decade of your life. A lot of you are gonna be joining a group, and you'll be spending a lot more time with these people than your old people, the old people in your life. And that's a good thing. It's just showing that you're transforming. And if you're finding that people are already entering your life and they are similar to you, they're working on transformation too, then that's a positive sign that you're already doing what you need to do. But a big message for the collective is just stop worrying. This peace card says there's no need to worry, as everything is working out beautifully. A lot of the times, because we feel like we have to control everything in order for it to work, it's just like, it's so hard to break that habit. It's so hard for a lot of people to break that habit, but you have to get more comfortable with the unknown. And I can guarantee you, when you get more comfortable with the unknown, your life will change. I see it in clients. I see it in my tarot clients and my psychology clients all the time. When they can take that first leap into the unknown, not having one foot in your old life and one foot in your new life, you have to leap. You can't leap when one foot is still in the old door, right? That's not a leap. That's, I'm just going to put my foot here to test the waters, to see how it is. And if I don't like it, I can still fall back into my old self. That's not a leap, That's you're not even out of your comfort zone when you're doing that. So you're being called to push out of your comfort zone, because a lot of you are feeling so isolated and alone. And that's because you're just surrounded by people who are not on your frequency, and you won't stop feeling that way until you take that leap, until you start with that transformation. But okay, best of luck to everyone attracted to pile number 2. I hope you enjoyed your message. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you did enjoy this reading, it really helps me to be able to produce more pick-a-card readings and to be more active on my social media accounts when I see that you guys are enjoying the material. So thanks, pile number 2, and I'm now going to move on to pile number 3. Okay, and hello to my pile number 3s. So again, this reading is what you all need to know right now. So the cards that you have are the Knight of Swords, the Ace of Wands, Undying Love. It says, the love you have shared is eternal regardless of the situation. You have High Priestess. You have divine knowledge that can help others through your spiritual teaching. We have the Song of the Siren. It says the call, summoning voice to acknowledge. And we have Angel of Strength. So this message is very, very clear for you all. it is time to, you're being called to your soul path. You're being called to acknowledge the biggest thing that's popping up for me is like, the biggest thing that the image that's popping up for me is almost like in Frozen 2, like Elsa being called by the siren, right? And we have the song of the siren, or even just the imagery of being called by a siren, period. So I feel like a lot of you are being called. You're being called by a higher force. You're being called by a force of the unknown. And it can be a bit uncomfortable for you, but you're being called because you have this strength and this light and this knowledge within you that is really going to help other people to ascend. So you are what you will call a light worker, right? So you've been through certain things in your life, and your journey is going to help other people on their journey, right? Even look at the high priestess, like you're stepping into the high priestess, or the hierophant, or the high priest energy. This card is saying you have divine knowledge that can help others through spiritual teaching. It is time for you to start your spiritual journey, my pile number threes. Well, most importantly, I feel like it's time for you to start your spiritual journey, which is helping others. You may have thought, like, I feel like a lot of you feel like you don't know enough, or you don't have the proper knowledge or healing to be able to help others. But the message I'm getting is that just you have all the resources that you need to teach. You all are being prepared to be teachers. It's amazing. You have, a lot of it has to do with just sharing love to people. So you don't necessarily have to be a light worker and you teach other people how to heal. You can do some kind of creative action and it inspires other people. Like some people can, like, they're into music and then their music inspires people to heal. I'm thinking of like Janae Ankle, where she may not actively be doing meditations, but her music inspires a lot of people to meditate. Or some people can be like, you can be like a poet, and their words can inspire other people. So it may not be in the same way that I'm doing awakening, so like tarot to awaken people that way, but I am getting at for some of you it is, but for a lot of you it's just your unique creative gift. That's what's going to inspire people to awaken, because when you work creatively, you are literally channeling the divine. So people, when they're producing this amazing song and then people just flock to them because they want to hear it, it's because they're hearing the divine in their voice, or when people have art and people are just like, wow, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen, it's because they're seeing a piece of the divine in that work. That's what happens when you work creatively. So a lot of you are being called to hear the song of the siren and to acknowledge it, because you have heard it. It's sort of just like the Frozen 2, when she's like, I hear, not to say I hear you, but but you're talking to the voice, so it's like you're being called to acknowledge this voice, this calling. It's going to come to you. A lot of you, it's going to come to you as you're reading this, right? Because it's going to be some kind of new beginning. Once you shed like the negative programming that you had when you were younger, that told you that your specific creative niche isn't like good enough or something, or that you can't really make enough money with it, that you don't really, a lot of you are just, you don't believe that you have like this magic in you, so you look at other people and you can see the magic in them, but you have yet to see the magic in you. You're being told that you have that magic in you. You have the love and you have the knowledge. Therefore, you have everything you need to move forward. So that's what you need to hear right now. That's what you need to hear right now, my pile number threes. It reminds me of the Magician card, where he's given the pentacle, the wands, the cup, and the sword. You have all of your tools. You have all of your resources. And look, you can even see that on the table. You have a sword card, a wand with the undying love that can be a cup card, right? You have everything you need to move forward with what it is that you're sort of on the fence with right now, right? For a lot of you, it has to do with like being defensive, like that there's something that you're being called to do, but your defenses are going up for some reason. And it may be not feeling like you're good enough to do it. For a lot of you, it's just feeling like you're not prepared enough. Like you need more education, more healing, more love, more light. You don't. You have all of that in you. Like that's when someone awakens, it's not like they awaken and all of a sudden they're a light beam, they're a light worker. You are already that light beam, that light worker. You just have like these defenses around yourself that are telling you that you're not, that are making you disbelieve your own power, your own magic. You, my power number 3s, you have the magic in you. You have the power in you. You have the love in you to move forward. I'm trying to keep this general for the collective. I am seeing like a few different ways that some of you are going to move forward. Some of you are going to be writers. Some of you are going to be teachers. Some of you are artists. Some of you are tarot readers. Some of you are mediums. Some of you are psychics. But some of you are love counselors, you know, like you're very good at something with helping couples like get together. Like you may find your friends come to you a lot for relationship advice, even though you may not necessarily be in a relationship yourself. Some of you are teachers of children. Some of you are teachers of like adolescents. You have this powerful gift in you, my power number 3s, and it's a shame because many of you do not see it, or you're like, you've been waiting for permission. Well, this is your permission. You have permission to move forward. You have always had all of the tools you needed to excel at what it is you're thinking about at this moment right now, right? Even look at this Angel of Strength card, you know, like you are highly protected. You don't have to fear that things are not going to work out, because if you start something assuming that it's not going to work, then because you have such a strong power of will, then you begin to derail off your path. You know, I hope that makes sense. Like for you, my power number 3s, you have this magic and this light in you, so therefore you have a strong power of will. Have you ever met someone and they can come in new to an environment and then they slowly start to wrap people up in their life? That's someone with a very strong and powerful will. You know, their will is more powerful than those around them. So then you can think of each person as like their own little tornado, their own little whirlwind. And some are more faster moving and more powerful than others. When you have a very powerful whirlwind or power of will, you start to wrap people up. Just like you see a tornado, if it's close enough to certain things, it starts to really grab people into its pull. So you have that kind of pull, and because it's so powerful, if you go into a setting thinking that it's going to be like the same, then you're going to fulfill it, because that's how powerful you are. That's how absolutely powerful you are, my pile number 3s. So I hope you can see this power in you and see it as a positive thing. If you have the power to continue to reenact destructive patterns in your life, guess what? You absolutely have the power to change that. You absolutely have the power to, you know, pull positive things into your life instead of the old negative things into your life. You have the power to create something and be able to spread that to the world to really help other people out. So what you need to hear right now is that you are a very powerful light being, my pile number 3s. You have the love in you. You have the knowledge in you. All you have to do is answer the call. You have to acknowledge the call. You have your own personal, unique call. A new beginning is coming, and it's very quickly approaching. For a lot of you, it's going to be, for many people, period, millions of people in 2020, they're going to awaken, right? So I get that for you, you have awakened a bit, but the thing that you're going to awaken to is awakening to your true power, right? A lot of you are a lot more powerful than you think you are. And you're going to start to use that power to create your special little unique gift to the world. So I hope you enjoyed your message pile number 3. This is a really, really encouraging message to be told from Great Spirit that you have all the love, knowledge, and skills that you need to do whatever it is you want, you know, whatever it is that your soul is calling you to do. That's such an amazing, amazing message. So I really hope you enjoyed it and that you take heed to the message and that you can use this to encourage you to take that leap, to open that business, to make that move, do whatever it is that your soul is calling you to do, and be fearless, you know, call upon your strength, be courageous, because whatever you think about, you have such a power, magic, strong will about you. You can really easily call in really great things into your life, and that's what I see a lot of you doing. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, pile number 3s. Please remember to give this video a like if you enjoyed your message, and also please remember to share this video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel as well. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to pile number 4. Okay, welcome to my pile number 4s. If you are new to my channel, welcome. For those who are returning, thank you so much for watching another one of my readings and for just continuing to be here with me on my channel as my channel progresses and grows. I truly, truly, truly appreciate all of my subscribers. But for pile number 4, for what you need to hear right now, look at all of this. Sword and wands type of energy. So let me go through the cards. You got the 2 of swords, the Knight of Swords, the 2 of wands. You have a card that says easy does it. There is no need to hurry or force things to happen. Everything is occurring in perfect time. And that's been a theme for this reading for the entire collective. You have blossoming. It says you are just getting started, so have patience with yourself and the process. And you have receptivity, saying allow yourself to receive, allow yourself to give. So I feel like the message of what you need to hear right now is sort of like what I said in the beginning. So I usually give like a little monologue before I start the reading. If you did not watch that, I would go back to the beginning of the video and watch that, because it has a lot to do with your reading. And when I said this easy does it card is something that's been resonating in all of these readings, it is. And I'm going to read it again. It says there is no need to hurry or force things to happen. Everything is occurring in perfect timing. That's basically the summary of the message you need to hear, my pile number 4s. A lot of the collective is about to jump into the unknown. We're going to a period of a mass awakening where there is just going to be knowledge spread. The things that are barely, the foundations that are built on lies and deception, they're going to be revealed, and because they're going to start to crumble. They're already crumbling right now. For the people who are paying attention, they're already crumbling. But a lot of people are going to be made aware of just the degree of deception that's going on in society. And this message telling you there's no need to hurry or force things is because as a collective, a lot of the times we have to wait for these things. We have to wait for divine timing. That's what the perfect timing is alluding to. We have to wait for divine timing. You have to wait and allow yourself to fully blossom. A lot of people try to do things prematurely. They'll get a reading, they'll hear that they have like a certain number of blocks, and these blocks are preventing them from, like, say, meeting the love of their life. So then they get obsessive about it, and then and you have to realize this obsession is just another degree of control. So like they go to a Reiki healer, and then they have to get all their chakras aligned, and then, you know, they're going through all the anxious thoughts and everything. It's like that's not how things work. Things work like in progression. You can't jump from step 1 to step 20 and expect that you're going to retain everything and that you've learned every lesson. You have to learn each lesson in a very strategic way, you know? So I get that some of you are putting unnecessary pressure on yourself because, like, you probably feel the energy of 2020 coming, and you want to make changes, and that's amazing. But you have to realize changes are made in time, you know? We are getting hit with accelerated energy where you have the ability to evolve at an accelerated rate, but sometimes people try to force things into their life. So I get that for some of you attracted to pile number 4, there are just different ways that you are trying to, that you have, it's for some of you it's in the past, but for many of you it's right now, just trying to force things to happen in your life at an accelerated rate. You should be checking in with your intuition if you are trying to do things very quickly, not going to a spell worker or a root worker to get things into your life. The best way to use the energy of the universe is to wait and allow for things to happen when they're supposed to, not trying to trick the universe into doing things for you by getting a spell done or getting some kind of root work done. So that's not for all of you, but some of you needed to hear that, because that's not a good way to begin 2020, by forcing and trying to manipulate the energies of the universe, because it's just going to come back to you. A lot of people do this kind of manipulation and then they don't really take heed to karma, like it has to rebalance itself. It's going to come back to you. So that's for some of you. Some of you just stop doing that, because you are accumulating karma that you have no idea that you're accumulating, because you may be going to people and thinking that they have your best interest in mind, when 9 times out of 10 they're just lining their pockets. I can guarantee you the same people who made you root work and spell work for you may not do that crap for themselves, because they may know the karma associated. And if they don't, then you shouldn't be allowing someone to do something like that for you when they have no idea what they truly are doing, the true understanding of magic. But anyway, that's for some of you. For others of you, what I hear that you need to know right now is, like I was saying, just to be patient with yourself. You are blossoming. Some of you are comparing your journeys too much to other people, and you're trying to, even though that message was for some of you, I feel like it's reflected into all of you who are attracted to pile number 4, because you're trying to get to step 1 to 20, because you may see people at step 20 and you want to be there, but you have to realize you have to progress. You have to keep moving forward at a steady rate. That's how the universe works. And if you are trying to move at an accelerated rate, you have to make sure that you're working on your healing, so that you can make it through those lessons quickly. And there also seems to be some kind of imbalance when it comes to how much you're giving and how much you're receiving. And some of you are giving so much of your time, so much of your energy, that you're sending out to the universe that you're fine giving everything and not receiving anything back. You may find that it's hard for you to accept compliments. It's hard for you to accept gifts from people. I mean, I've said this when I channeled the collective earlier, and it's pretty much the same message. You have to be open to receiving stuff, because it may start off as a small thing with someone just wanting to give you a little gift, and it may make you uncomfortable, but you have to realize when you receive that, you're showing the universe that you want to receive more gifts, that you want to receive. You don't want to just constantly give and have that imbalance, So for some of you, that's the message of what you need to hear as well. I'm also seeing a lot of things when it comes to thought, like some kind of decision that needs to be made. And I feel like the decision for a lot of you has to do with just being patient with yourself, realizing that you may not be exactly where you want to be in life, where you want to be in your spiritual journey, but that's okay. Because a lot of the times, if we look to social media or we look to the people around us who may be at a more advanced level, and you start comparing your journey to other people's journeys, it's not an ideal thing to do, because your journey is not their journey. And all that does is cause more confusion. It causes more anxious thoughts, and it makes it difficult to make decisions, So some of you are really being called to just go ahead and make that decision. There's some kind of decision that you've been sort of pushing off that you haven't made, and it's related to trying to maybe force things into your life, I get that for some of you, you're trying to force things, and as far as different relationships or financial situations, just trying to force different things into your life and trying to force yourself to a higher level in your spiritual journey than you really are. A lot of that has to do with like these defenses. So a lot of you would really benefit from learning what your different programming is, learning your defenses. I recommend for everyone, both my tarot clients and my psychology clients, I've been recommending to look at this last decade, look what's worked for you, really map out different patterns that have happened throughout the years. I mean, it can be the point where you can map out each year, and you may see that in January, similar things have occurred in your life. You know, like when you really get down to mapping out your patterns, that's how you break the patterns, and that's how you break the defenses. So for a lot of you, your defenses are what's holding you back and causing you to want to force certain things into your life, right? But I do see you coming out of that energy, which is good. It's just like you have to bring awareness to that. You can't force your spiritual awakening. You can't. Some people awaken their kundalini too fast because they hear other people doing it, and then okay, they did their kundalini awakening. I want to see what that feels like. So then they like either pay money or do this research to do their kundalini awakening, but without consulting their higher self. So then it's like now you have like burnt down the energetic forces really shielding your chakra system before its timing, you know. So then now you have to have more defenses up because you burnt down your natural defenses. There's so many layers to spiritual things. That's why occult knowledge was kept secret, I think, because it has to be done in steps and progression, and they knew that if certain people were to get their hands on it, I'm not talking about people who took it to keep it to themselves to hoard it. I'm talking about true like teachers of the occult. They knew that there were certain students, like if you have certain defenses up, you can't give them all of the books on how to awaken, because instead of starting with chapter 1, they may skip to the 20th chapter. And I really get that that's what some of you are doing, trying to really force progress, force healing at an accelerated rate. And if that's available to you, that's fine. It may be available to some people, but for a lot of you, it's not. And a lot of you are at risk of like almost screwing yourselves over for trying to do things more quickly than you should be doing them. Yeah. So that's what I'm seeing. Also, just like really understand this imbalance that's going on with how much you're giving and how much you're receiving. The universe is going to, so I'm getting this from the time you watch this video, the universe is going to present a small gift within a week of you watching this video. And I'm saying this knowing that a lot of you are going to be so obsessive with what it is that you may miss it. But this is not a challenge for you to set you up to fail. It's something to show you how, when you get out of your mind, when you get out of your anxious thoughts, and when you really use your headspace to help you instead of like to keep you there, keep you stuck there, then you can be more receptive. In order to receive a gift from the universe, you have to be open to your intuition. A lot of you are too focused on your headspace, and it's causing difficulty. So from the time you watch this video, within a week, it can be a gift from the universe. I'm not saying it's going to be a huge gift. It can be something small that you may find outside. A lot of people walk past little signs and gifts and synchronicities from the universe, and they just don't acknowledge them. One time I was walking to my car, and this leaf stood out to me because it just looked so golden and so beautiful, and I picked it up, you know, like. And then I was just thinking, how many people will walk past this sign from the universe? And then, because it's in those little signs that it's like the universe leaves little breadcrumbs all over. You pick one thing up, and that may cause you to research something, and then that leads you down another part of the rabbit hole, and then that leads you down another part of the rabbit hole. That's how you progress at an accelerated rate, not by looking at what other people are doing and then trying to follow that path. Everyone's journey is going to have its own unique little twist. You are having signs that are sent specifically to you and for you. So those are the ones that you have to take heed to, you know? So just for my pound number 4 is be careful not to try to do certain things or go to maybe healers or something trying to get things done at an accelerated rate. Make sure you're waiting for divine timing. Make sure you're being patient with yourself, with your progress, with your soul. Make sure that you are open to receiving, right? Allow yourself to give and allow yourself to receive. And make sure that this next week, when you walk outside your house, turn your intuition on. Get grounded in your body and look out for the signs. I'm not saying be so hyper vigilant like someone playing Pokemon Go that you're like running into stuff. Just when you allow your heart and your intuition to lead you, you'll literally walk up to these signs and you'll be able to see it. And it's really going to help you out. It's really going to help you out. Okay, so that's basically all I have for my pile number 4s for what you need to hear right now. And good luck, pile number 4s. I feel like you guys have had a tough time because you don't just develop the anxious thoughts or trying to force things. You don't do that out of nowhere. A lot of you have done it because you've been through such difficult things that you just want to control what you feel like you can control. You just want to bring peace and calm to what you feel like you can bring peace and calm to. But you can find serenity and calmness in the unknown. You can find that with being more in your emotional body than in your headspace. And you can still find comfort and allowing yourself to receive gifts rather than always being the giver of things. So that's all I have for you, my pile number 4s. For everyone who watched this video, thanks so much for watching this video. Again, this was in celebration of me reaching 200 subscribers, and I truly appreciate all of you who have been with me in these past few months. I think I've had this for about my channel for about 4 months now, so I truly appreciate all of you who have liked, shared, and subscribed to my videos and my channel. And please continue to do so. Share these messages with your friends if you think that it will help them, and tune in later for more tarot readings and messages from Mermaid Tales. Thanks guys, and I hope you all have an amazing day. Bye bye.